Stormwatch 2022 is brought to you by Home Gas, your propane experts before, during, and after the storm.
A hurricane is a stressful time for everyone, including children. So joining me now to discuss children and hurricanes is Dr. Judith Bryant. Dr. Judith Bryant is a professor at the University of South Florida and a member of its doctoral program in Cognition, Neuroscience, and Social Psychology. Welcome to the show, Dr. Bryant.
Thank you very much.
So, Dr. Bryant, let's begin by talking a little bit about your background. You graduated with your PhD from Yale University, correct? And what did you study there?
Actually, I have my undergraduate degree from Yale, where I studied psychology. Actually, that's how I found my way from being a math major and an English major to psychology, because it combined so many things I was interested in about children. But from Yale, I went to the University of Minnesota, where I got my PhD at the Institute of Child Development. So I have a really broad background in child development, and my particular interest is the preschool years and social and cognitive development. So I've been thinking about and watching and studying children for many decades.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me something. Conversations parents should have when a hurricane is approaching. Let's just jump right into it there.
Okay. I should also add, by the way, that my ideas about that, in answer to your question, come not only from the work that I've done and my familiarity with research in the area of child development, but also my personal experience as a mother. My sons are both young adults now, but they've lived their whole lives in Florida, and we have, of course, had to cope with many impending hurricanes and other kinds of events. But what kinds of conversations? I guess the main answer I'd give to that is that really depends on your particular child. That parents are the people who know their children the best. And so the nature of the conversations really will depend on how old their children are, on their sensibilities. Some children get more anxious. Some children want to have a lot of information and facts. And I would say, trust your judgment about having these conversations, but follow the child's lead. If the child has questions, don't poo-poo them. One should try to provide the information that the child appears to be asking for, and be factual and realistic.
Are there any type of activities that could be beneficial, because we know this is all a stressful time. It's for adults, for children, everyone. It's a very stressful time for anyone. But any activities that kind of might do a little better for children especially?
Sure. I think getting children involved in preparations is very important, because during hurricanes and other possible disaster situations, many of us feel helpless. We want to do something, and doing something is so much better than worrying about what might happen. And so for children, again, depending on their ages, you can get them involved in different activities. For example, older children might want to follow the path of the hurricane, or try to find out where one would evacuate to. They can get involved in gathering hurricane supplies, which I think for many of us is kind of a year-round activity. Can we check the expiration date of the materials that we gathered before? What do we need to update? And if families need to evacuate, gathering the necessary items, helping the parents do that, and then figuring out what is possible to bring for personal comfort or activities. But I think involving them in planning, getting information, gathering materials, understanding the plan, I think that makes this a family activity and makes them feel like they know what's going on and have some control.
And you say that, and that could help take some of the stresses off the parent, because they're thinking, I got so many things to do, but yet you could actually delegate your child to do some of that, so you don't have to worry about it. Let
Yes.
them own that while they focus on some other things that the parents really need to get done. But it's also a stressful time for parents where they might not do so well with handling a stressful situation. And it's also very important to model a calm behavior. What are some things parents can do to try to help, make sure that they're
Yes.
modeling calm behavior?
Yes. Yes. Um, you are absolutely right. Children get their emotional cues from the people around them. We call that social referencing. When children, especially the very young ones, don't know how to interpret a situation, they'll look to their family to read their expressions and so on. So even though it's sometimes extremely difficult for us to remain calm and to convey that sense of calm to our children, that's awfully important. And so part of managing that, to me, is not getting overwhelmed by the media. I find that when a hurricane is approaching Tampa, it's on all the television stations 24 hours a day. Turn off the television, turn off the radio. Yes, you need to know to some degree when things are happening, but they're going to be happening slowly and reasonably predictably. So don't get overwhelmed, I think, with all of that. That's very stressful for both the parents, and for the children. And get sleep. Try to stay in a routine. That's important for children and parents alike, to sort of help us manage our emotions and just stay physically and mentally healthy.
Absolutely. Now, when a child starts to struggle a bit, what are some things that they often give off for the parent to be like, okay, I need to watch out for these signs? What are some signs that the parents really need to watch out for when to quickly identify, okay, my child is starting to struggle, I need to do something about it?
Yes. Some of it's with the younger children, some of the more common signs would be kind of regression to more immature behaviors. So, for example, if children start wetting their beds, having accidents when they're well beyond being able to stay dry and so on, that would be concerning. Obviously, crying or other visible signs of upset, stomach issues, not being able to eat, I think are very common physical signs of stress. And children may be kind of perseverating or worrying and expressing that verbally, and that will be maybe more obvious to family members. And sometimes there's not a lot that we can do about that other than reassure them that we're prepared. There are professionals out there, whether it's police officers or public health officials or the weather forecasters and so on. There are a lot of people out there who are working to keep us safe and look out for us, and kind of that reminder might be helpful too.
So as we start to wrap things up, what other tips may you have for helping children cope with hurricane storms and also the aftermath?
I think a couple of things are really important, and maybe I'm kind of repeating the general message, is routines are very important. People want to have predictable lives, and hurricanes are an unpredictable part of our lives. But if we can try to maintain routines as best we can, even if we have to go to a shelter, even if streets are blocked or whatever, sleep routines, food routines, family activity routines, if that's possible, that's really important. And the second message is know your own child. I can give general advice for children in general, but different children have different abilities to understand information, to cope emotionally. And so parents are the best people to know their children, to know how much information to provide, how much emotional support, how much to get them involved, and so on. So I think parents should also trust their guts, while at the same time kind of maintaining as best they can a calm presence.
Really appreciate you, Dr. Bryant, for taking the time to discuss this very, very important topic. Thank you very, very much.
All right, you're very welcome.
Stormwatch 2022 is brought to you by Home Gas, your propane experts before, during, and after the storm.